Bum, 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 bum. Happy Easter. Hello, darlings, and welcome to CareOffBook. I'm Care Darling. And today, first off, if I got my scheduling on time, happy Easter. And what a great day to talk about a musical that I really do enjoy called Easter Parade. Like I said, today we are revisiting the classic musical Easter Parade. Released in July 1948, this film features an all-star cast including Judy Garland, Fred Astaire, Peter Lawford, and Ann Miller. The memorable score was composed by the legendary Irving Berlin. Despite its summer release, Easter Parade became a massive commercial success, captivating audiences with its timeless performances and songs. You'd think that they would have let this movie come out during the spring, but listen, I guess they knew what they were doing. I absolutely adore Easter Parade. Now, listen, watching the entire film is a delight, but you can also experience its charm by viewing, a playlist of its iconic performances. The musical numbers are so fun that, they'll make you fall in love with the film even without watching it in full. On this episode, I'm going to delve into the plot, talk about the costume, the performances, if there's any trivia that I researched. I'm just gonna share, okay? Now, I love to hear your thoughts. And listen, I'm also going to share things about this movie that I find questionable, okay? Now, if I had to describe this movie to people who have never seen it before, I would say it's a mix of She's All That and My Fair Lady, but with a twist. Easter Parade opens with the delightful number Happy Easter, where we see Don Hewes, played by Fred Astaire, shopping for gifts for his sweetheart. One charming scene features Don engaging in a playful tussle with a young boy over a stuffed bunny. A bunny for my honey. Okay, so this is leading into the song Drum Crazy, and this number perfectly showcases Fred's effortless style. He captivates us without, resorting in exaggerated movements. He has this unique talent for turning everyday objects into dance partners. Remember his routines with a hat rack or dancing along walls? In this film, it's the drumsticks that became extensions of his artistry. Interestingly, Fred Astaire wasn't the original choice for Don Hewes. The role was initially intended for Gene Kelly. However, Gene broke his ankle during a volleyball game, leading him to suggest Fred as his replacement. This turn of events marked a significant comeback for Fred Astaire, reaffirming his status as a top star at MGM. As the story unfolds, we're introduced to Nadine Hale, portrayed by Ann Miller. Now, she brings her signature energy and precision to the role, adding another layer of brilliance to the film's stellar cast. Not to, make anyone jealous or anything, but I met her. And to be fair, I was a kid and I didn't even realize, who she was because she was older. And as a kid, where the actors and actresses are in the film, you think that's just what they look like always. I know. So I remember seeing some musical. I went to the theater and she was there. And my mom was like, go say hi. And I was like, hello, ma'am.
Hello, Miss Lady.
And then when I realized how I know her, I was like, she wears she wears this outfit that lives in my mind all the time. And I can't wait to talk about it once we get into the plot. So Don meets up with Nadine and sings It Only Happens When I Dance With You, while Nadine appears uneasy, as if she's struggling to share some news with him. Their friend Johnny, played by Peter Lawford, then arrives bringing a gift, a little pug, that Nadine excitedly passes to her maid to go with the rest. This moment highlights that Nadine's accessorizing with dogs, treating them much like fashion items. It's amusing to think that perhaps Johnny keeps gifting her dogs. hugs to complement her or her outfits. Now, to me, this could have been an early inspiration to Paris Hilton. Like, remember her dog Tinkerbell and like the way that they would dress up? Now, listen, I do not agree that, pets should be accessories, but for some reason, I think it's just so funny in the film. Like, what if Johnny was giving her goldfish? What is she gonna do then? Like, would she walk outside with the goldfish to be like, look at us?
Hey, look at us. Look at us. Huh? Who would have thought? Not me.
Now, there's a pivotal moment where Nadine informs Dawn that she won't continue their partnership as she signed a contract for her own solo show. The accompanying music is so dramatic and intense. I mean, it's underscoring the significance of her decision. I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually totally on Nadine's side. Like, I'm like, you go, girl, take that opportunity, make that money, yes. I also understand why Dawn is upset, because this isn't just business. He's also in love with her, but also, we learned that Nadine is in love with Johnny. And this just adds another layer to the drama. And honestly, I understand her attraction. Johnny is quite the catch. After this revelation, we find Don drowning his sorrows at a bar, which leads to his encounter with Hannah Brown, portrayed by Judy Garland. Initially hesitant about Dawn's job offer, Hannah's attitude shifts dramatically once she realizes she's speaking with the renowned Don Hewes. Hannah then performs I Want to Go Back to Michigan, and I love this costume so much. I mean, the pop of pink paired with that charming baby doll apron, it's just adorable. It's delightful, okay? I mean, the costumes in Easter Parade, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, they're not my favorite, but there are some hits in it. The costumes in Easter Parade were designed by Irene Lentz, professionally known as Irene. While she may not be Edith Head, her designs in this film, I mean, are eye-catching at times. And again, we will get to the outfit that lives in my mind. So we're back at the bar, and listen, this is why I say, like, this reminds me of She's All That, because Dawn is like, listen, I can make any girl a star. Like, whoever's my partner will be bigger than Nadine or whatever. And in She's All That, right? What's his name? Freddie Prinze Jr. He gets broken up by his girlfriend, and he's like, yeah, whatever, I can make any girl the prom queen. So that's why I'm like, similarities. The next day, Dawn anxiously awaits to see if Hannah will show up for rehearsal, regretting his impulsive decision to hire her. To his surprise, Hannah arrives, informing Dawn that she has quit her previous job to join him. She also mentions that it's Easter Sunday, so that's why she was late. As they begin rehearsing, Dawn quickly realizes that Hannah struggles with distinguishing her left foot from her right, making it challenging for her to pick up the dance routines.
What idiot ever told you you were a dancer?
You did.
Random, but Judy Garland is actually left-handed, and there's a funny moment later in the film. I'll point it out. I didn't notice it before, but I did now, and it made me giggle, and I can't wait to tell you. Dawn attempts to transform Hannah into a replica of Nadine, even suggesting she adopt the exotic stage name Juanita. One of my favorite scenes unfolds when Dawn tests whether Hannah possesses that je ne sais quoi. So on this pursuit to, help Hannah and like pretty much change her identity, Dawn selects items that clearly don't align with Hannah's style. It's just not her. She subtly tries to convey her discomfort, but Dawn insists this is business. You know how there was this TikTok trend where there would be a camera behind someone, and as the person in front would go walk, they were filming people that would turn around and look at them, and they were trying to show like, wow, this person's so attractive that people have to take a second glance. This scene in Easter Parade made me think of this trend, because that's exactly what Don did with Hannah, because he was like, how many people look around to, check you out? And she's like, well, I would have to turn around. So then he's like, okay, well, Go ahead and let me see. And in the beginning, no one's really turning. And then all of a sudden, people are like snapping their neck looking. And as the cameras, I love it so much. As the camera zooms out, you see, what is it? It's the face she makes. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. So when I started to see the trend happen with TikTok, I was like, are they just making a face in front? If anything, the reason why people are turning around looking is probably because they're wondering, why is this camera person filming them, and do I know them? That's why. Don and Hannah's first performance together is an absolute riot. This comedic scene was inspired by a real-life incident during Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers' cheek-to-cheek routine in Top Hat, where Ginger's feathered dress shed feathers everywhere. In Easter Parade, Judy Garland's feather gown playfully nods to that mishap, with feathers flying as she dances. Judy's comedic timing is impeccable here. What truly stands out is how convincingly she portrays Hannah's insecurities. Despite being the legendary star that she is, Judy embodies the nervous beginner so authentically. It's a testament to her incredible acting skills. Unfortunately, back to the storyline, their debut doesn't go as planned, and the show is not a success. Johnny is on a mission to reunite Don and Nadine, but Nadine has her sights set on Johnny, hoping to meet his wealthy father. Johnny tries to defer her by, mentioning like, oh, I'm gonna go to medical school for years. Oh, I may not inherit the family's fortune until, I'm 55. And oh, my father dislikes children. However, Nadine remains unfazed by these revelations. When Don arrives at the restaurant, Johnny quickly makes his exit, leaving Don and Nadine to converse. During their dinner, Nadine accuses Don of molding his new partner into her likeness, claiming that Hannah is imitating her style and that her friends are laughing at Hannah because of it. This confrontation sparks an idea in Don, prompting him to leave abruptly. Meanwhile, as Hannah leaves the drugstore, she encounters Johnny during a sudden downpour. For Johnny, it's love at first sight. He quickly learns that Hannah is single, she's from the countryside, and is town for business, though she admits that she knows little about Johnny. Seizing the moment, Johnny offers to escort her with his umbrella, leading into the charming duet, A Fellow with an Umbrella. I love the fact that Johnny notices right away that the hat does not suit Hannah and that it doesn't seem like her. And it's like, wow, Dawn is trying so hard to make her something that she's not. And Johnny just saw her for who she was. And I am so team Johnny. Like, Nadine, you have taste. And for her to be like, listen, Johnny, I'll wait. I don't care. Like, to me, it's like, it's not about his wealth, it's about him. And it makes me like Nadine so much more.
Raindrops have brought us together, and that's what I long to see.
Now, this is just my opinion. I don't really like his voice when he sings, but you know what? I will put that to the side because I love the fact that he's such a gentleman. Instead of giving Johnny her number, Hannah pulls a Cinderella move and dashes off to rehearsal with Dawn. At rehearsal, Dawn surprises her by declaring, "There's no longer Juanita," acknowledging that trying to mold her into someone else was a mistake. Embracing her true self, Hannah performs I Love a Piano. And let me tell you, her voice is pure butter, smooth, rich, and utterly just phenomenal. Maybe the reason why I don't like Don so much is that he has such an ego. Like, even though he's the one that's been making mistakes, he tends to start blaming other people. And I don't like that. Hannah and Hewes are officially a sensation. Their performances blend singing and comedy seamlessly, showcasing their undeniable chemistry and talent. One standout number is Snooky Yookums, where their playful interaction is both charming and hilarious. What I love about this routine is its simplicity. They don't rely on, elaborate gimmicks or whatever. They're just holding each other and striding across the stage. Other memorable songs in this montage include Ragtime Violin and When the Midnight Choo-Choo Leaves for Alabama. Alabama, Alabama. It's fun.
It's not fun.
Of course there's dancing. Don and Hannah's transformation from attempting to be glamorous ballroom dancers to embracing tap and infusing more fun into their performances really pays off. Their chemistry shines through and the audiences love their unique style. However, things take a turn when Nadine reveals that Don and Hannah had been auditioning to be in her show, which unsettles Hannah. She's been developing feelings for Don and now questions whether he ever loved Nadine. The answer is yes, and honestly, while watching it, I'm like, Don is still in love with Nadine. To complicate matters further, Johnny and Hannah cross paths again, and Johnny seizes the moment to ask her out on a date. Caught off guard and perhaps seeking clarity, Hannah accepts. Later on that night, Don visits Hannah to inform her that he turned down the opportunity for them to perform in Nadine's show. He expresses his desire for their names to be on the marquee, emphasizing Nadine can't compare to you. This heartfelt declaration reassures Hannah of her unique value in their partnership. Hannah sees it as a compliment, but it's absolutely Don's ego, because how could he, be in a show under his ex-partner? There's some awkwardness because Don doesn't realize that Hannah and Johnny are going on a date, and so he kind of is inviting himself, but then once he realizes what's going on, it's like, okay, bye. So we're at the restaurant. They ask about the salad, and the waiter pantomimes the ingredients in the salad. This is so over the top and rando, but I love it. Now, you may recognize the waiter. He's actually in the musical On the Town later, New York, New York.
New York, it's a wonderful town.
So he does this big pantomime, toss, toss, mix, mix, toss, mix, toss. He does this whole pantomime, and after all of that, Johnny says no to the salad. I have to admit, Johnny, you lost a couple points from me, okay? This date was doomed though, because Hannah talks about Don and believes he doesn't love Nadine because he turned the show down, because, as he said, she's better than Nadine. Sadly, this is Don's ego, and Hannah doesn't see that. Johnny asks Hannah if she could ever love him, and she ultimately says no, then delivers this heartbreaking monologue about how what she sees as romantic is just business for Don. Judy Garland wrecks me in this scene. Her delivery is so honest, so raw. You realize in that moment that both Hannah and Johnny are carrying around this quiet, unrequited love. It's devastating. And if you think about it, Nadine is also, carrying unrequited love. Speaking of Nadine, we get that Ann Miller number, Shaking the Blues Away. Hands down, my favorite performance in the whole movie. As a kid, I was obsessed with that outfit. Oh, I don't know what it is. The black and yellow silhouette, the red lip, but I was mesmerized. And honestly, watching it again now, still am. The way she taps gives me chills. Now, fun fact, the role of Nadine was originally meant for Sid Charisse, but she had to drop out due to a torn ligament in one or maybe both of her knees. It's wild to think that she and Jean were supposed to do this film together, but hey, we do get to see them and Sing in the Rain, so I'm not mad about it. Now, this absolutely floored me. Ann Miller was actually wearing a brace during a lot of her numbers in Easter Parade. Her husband had thrown her down a flight of stairs while she was in her last trimester. She broke her back, went into premature labor, and tragically, her baby girl, Mary, died shortly after birth. She gave birth with a broken back. So watching that number now, it hits completely differently. Despite everything she went through, Miller's resilience and dedication to her craft cemented her as a true legend in the industry. And yes, she did divorce Reese Milner. Good for her. I know that this isn't trivia, this is tragedy, and I will never be able to look at that performance the same way. Now, I'll not only admire the costume and the dancing, but also the incredible woman Ann Miller is. I mean, she performs the heck out of that number. She's going so hard, her hair is literally coming undone, and I love it. Okay, back to the movie. Nadine's show, The Follies, is a hit, and you think Don would be upset, but nope. Instead, he lets Hannah know that Dillingham wants to build a show around her and Hewes. While going over the schedule, Hannah points out they'd be back just in time for the Easter parade. It's a date, and not just professionally. Don actually asks her to dinner that night, and she says yes. Now here's the big oops. While all of that is going on, Johnny is actually on the phone. So he called her. No, wait, did she call him? Whatever. He was like, oh no, Hannah, you're not gonna be canceling tonight, are you? And she's like, no. But then that whole thing with her, the excitement from Dawn, and he's like, dinner tonight? She's like, yes. So then ultimately, Johnny's like, yeah, I'm canceling tonight. He heard the whole thing. It's so awkward. Also, you know what I think is weird is the fact how they say the word date. Now, maybe it could be, a different generation, a different time period. But when I hear someone say like, oh, I'm going on a date, it means, seeing if this relationship can go anywhere. But then, so for example, if Johnny says to Hannah, like, oh, let's go on a date, then Hannah doesn't see that as a romantic gesture, but he means it romantically. But then when Johnny says it to Nadine, it's not romantic, like, oh, let's go on a date. So it's almost like let's go on a date means let's go to dinner, but then it's so confusing for them and me, because depending who the person is and how they feel is then like how they feel about the word date. So Hannah shows up to the dinner date in a brand new dress, all dolled up, only to find out Don just wants to go over the show. Ugh, I thought we had a date, not a rehearsal. Hannah tells Don she's upset, and in the heat of the moment, he kisses her. Now, Judy Garland and Fred Astaire definitely have chemistry, but with these characters, I'm just not feeling it. I was like, what the heck is going on? But, maybe it's because Don is kind of giving me the ick, and I don't understand why in that moment is when all of a sudden he's like, oh, there she is. Huh? Then Hannah notices some piano music sitting out, and it's the same song Dawn sang to Nadine at the beginning of the movie. She sits down, pretends to play piano, and sings, "It only happens when I dance with you." Ugh, it's so beautifully done, quiet, emotional. It's just so Judy, okay? And right after the song, Dawn hits her with, "Why didn't you tell me I'm in love with you?"
Boo! Boo!
Boo, what a cheesy line, Dawn. You couldn't do any better. Boo. All right, it's time for the big show with Hannah and Hewes. First up, we've got Dawn and full cast performing Steppin' Out with My Baby. Let's go. And I hate it. Don't get me wrong, Fred Astaire is a phenomenal talent, but in this number, the costumes, are atrocious. They completely clash with each other and the stage. Fred's look is bright and classy, but everyone else feels like they're in a totally different show, just way too maximalist. Then the number shifts into this slow motion moment where Fred is dancing in slow-mo while everyone else moves at normal tempo. And honestly, it just goes on way too long for me. Maybe at the time it was like revolutionary and it was like, ooh, Hollywood magic. Wow, how'd they do that? But personally, I'm more impressed watching Fred Astaire bounce a drumstick on beat over and over. Now, that's talent. Also, during the slow-mo sequence, at one point it shows Judy Garland clapping, and I think that should be a GIF or GIF. I don't know, whichever one. I say GIF and stuff, but yeah, a little clapping. Next up is a couple of swells, and it's cute, it's funny, and I love the old school trick where it looks like they're walking, but really it's just the backdrop moving. this was way more entertaining than the slow-mo bit we just sat through. So the show's a hit. Don and Hannah head up to the rooftop to celebrate where the Follies are performing. Yep, that means Nadine is starring. Now Nadine had her maid go spy on their show, and this maid was like, oh my goodness, it was awful. They were dressed like men and the people were just laughing at her. But ultimately, Nadine finds out that the show was actually a hit. She heads out to perform The Girl on the magazine cover, and okay, I don't know what it is, but these numbers where models are frozen as art just get me, okay? I love it. And they had all the classic magazines, like they had Cosmopolitan, Vogue, Harper's Bazaar. The visuals were everything. Also, I always love to watch and then like pretty much fire the models or hire the models that did a good job or didn't. The song ends, but Nadine's antics are just getting started. She goes up to Don and asks him to dance, and of course he does. Hannah's upset, as she should be. And to make it even worse, they're dancing to It Only Happens When I Dance With You. Yep, the same song Don originally used to show his feelings for Nadine, then later Hannah sang to him. So yeah, Hannah leaves, and honestly, I don't blame her. Also, quick moment for the dress Judy wears here. It's another favorite of mine, that deep green, perfect choice, green for envy, and it works. I also like Nadine's dress in this, like the ombre look. I think it's because it makes me think of We Are the Daughters of Triton. Like, I don't know what it is. Also, if you notice in the, when she's performing the number, The Girl on the magazine cover, she's wearing heels, but when she's dancing with Fred Astaire, she's wearing ballet flats. And it's because, she is a tall girl and she didn't want to be, really tall along Fred Astaire, so they did the switch. Hannah goes back to the bar where she and Don first met, and Mike, the bartender, tries to console her. She sings Better Luck Next Time. Ugh, and it's just heartbreaking, okay? I love the character choices. Like with her and she has like a glass that she caresses. Oh, it's just subtle shifts in her expression. It's so beautifully tragic. You can feel every bit of Hannah's heartbreak. So she goes back to the hotel and he's there waiting for her, and he tries to apologize. And you know what? This is probably the only time that I actually agree with Don, because, okay, there was an audience, right? Nadine went to ask him, and if he said no, I mean, he would just look like a jerk. So I think this is the first time that Don could say it's just business and actually mean it without any emotion to it. Nothing is resolved, and it's the next day, which means it's Easter. Hannah's still not over Don, and she tells Johnny she's still in love with him. Then Don shows up because, surprise, he still, loves her. And just like that, they break into the big finale number, Easter Parade. And right there, during the walk, Don proposes. It's classic. It's sweet. It ties everything up with a perfect little bow. Now, this is the bit that I didn't catch before. So, as we know with Hannah Brown, she doesn't know her left from right. So when Don proposes, she gives him the wrong hand, and he, adjusts it to the correct hand. And when I noticed that, I started giggling. I was like, oh my gosh, like what a cute, little bit. I'd love to know if you've ever seen Easter Parade, and then which performances stood out to you and why. And don't be shy about it. If you're not into Dawn, same. I firmly am Team Johnny over here. And honestly, I hope Nadine goes on to have all the success in the world because she's earned it, okay? Now, if you're into talking about musicals and Disney and like Broadway drama, I am your girl. I want to revisit the classic musicals at least once a month, okay? So any suggestions I would be grateful for, especially I don't even know what I'm going to do for the month of May. Like what musical? I don't know. Help. Anyways, darlings, I hope that you're able to go and find the best Easter eggs or different treasures, or deviled eggs sounds so good right now. That sounds so good. But yes, without further ado, take care, darling.